RHOA's Season 17 Episode 7 Review. Dallas brought the drama, the shade and the emotional breakdown nobody ordered. Baby, if this trip proved anything, it's that these peaches can turn a luxury getaway into a battlefield in under 12 minutes. Episode 7 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta gave us tequila, tension, fake smiles, emotional confusion, whispered gossip, side eyes, and enough unresolved drama to power 3 reunion episodes. Cynthia Bailey tried to gather the ladies together in Dallas for a classy, upscale, grown woman experience centered around her tequila brand launch, but these women acted like they were trapped inside a group chat that accidentally came to life. And honestly, this episode felt less like a friendship circle and more like a networking event where everybody secretly hates each other. The energy was weird from the start. Cynthia Bailey said, "Elegant, but the girls heard, fight night." First of all, let's talk about Cynthia. Cynthia came into this episode trying to give sophistication, legacy, black excellence, boss woman branding, and grown lady glamour. She had the fashions, the event setup, the tequila, the Dallas backdrop, and the vision. But unfortunately for her, the women she invited showed up carrying emotional support grudges. One thing about this cast, they will smile in your face while actively preparing a shady confessional about you at the same time. Cynthia spent half the episode trying to keep everybody calm while also realizing these women may actually be impossible to manage. And honestly, I started feeling bad for her. You could see it in her eyes. That silent, "Why did I invite these people?" Look, every time she tried to redirect the energy back toward positivity, somebody else brought up an issue, a rumor, an attitude problem, or a complaint about somebody's tone. At one point, it felt like Cynthia was hosting a luxury event for emotionally exhausted toddlers. Porsha is still carrying emotional chaos everywhere she goes. Now let's get into Porsha. Porsha has always understood reality TV. Whether people love her or hate her, she knows how to keep the camera on her. But this season, the energy around her feels different. There's a heaviness there, a confusion, "I'm trying to act unbothered but I'm actually very bothered" vibe. And viewers can see it. Her relationship situation keeps floating over every scene like a dark cloud nobody wants to acknowledge directly. Every conversation somehow circles back to trust, loyalty, confusion, emotional instability, or who's really supporting who behind closed doors. And let's be honest, some of these women are pretending to support Porsha while quietly collecting information for later use. That's what makes this cast dangerous. The friendships feel temporary, the support feels rented, and the loyalty expires every 48 business hours. Porsha also seemed irritated throughout the episode. Even when she was laughing, it felt forced at times. Like somebody trying to enjoy the vacation while mentally preparing for another argument. And reality TV fans notice little things. The facial expressions, the delayed responses, the fake laugh after shade, the "I'm not doing this right now" energy. This wasn't carefree Princess Porsha. This was, "I'm tired but still camera ready" Porsha. Kelly looks emotionally drained. Now Kelly. Phew. Kelly feels like somebody trying to survive a social environment where nobody fully trusts each other. Every conversation seems emotionally loaded for her. One minute she's trying to fit in. The next minute she looks overwhelmed. Then suddenly she's defending herself again. It's exhausting just watching it. And the problem is, on this cast, once people sense vulnerability, they start circling like reality TV sharks smelling blood in the water. Nobody wants to look weak. Nobody wants to look emotional. Nobody wants to look left out. So instead of honest communication, everybody performs confidence while quietly unraveling. That's why some of the group scenes feel so uncomfortable this season. You can tell certain women are trying to protect themselves emotionally while also making good TV. And sometimes those two things don't work together. Kelly especially feels stuck between wanting genuine friendships and realizing she may be surrounded by women who see conflict as job security. Angela and Pinky are turning every conversation into a verbal boxing match. Now let's talk about Angela and Pinky because every time they speak to each other, it feels like somebody lit a match near gasoline. The tension is immediate. Nobody relaxes. Nobody breathes. Nobody says, "Let's move forward." Instead, both of them seem committed to winning every interaction, even if the actual topic gets completely lost. And honestly, that's what makes housewives arguments funny. They start in one place and end somewhere completely unrelated. One minute it's, "I didn't appreciate your tone." 10 minutes later it becomes, "And that's why nobody trusted you in Miami in 2018." Like what are we even discussing anymore? But I will say this, Angela does know how to keep the scene moving. And Pinky walks into scenes like she already knows she's trending online. That confidence can either make you iconic or make viewers exhausted depending on the episode. This week, a little bit of both. The Dallas trip was beautiful but emotionally raggedy. Can we talk about how gorgeous the trip looked while simultaneously feeling spiritually stressful? That's Housewives magic. Luxury hotels, fancy dinners, designer outfits, professional glam. Meanwhile everybody secretly wants to cuss each other out between appetizers. And that's exactly why people keep watching this franchise after all these years. Because underneath the expensive scenery is pure emotional chaos. The women smile for photos together while actively collecting evidence against each other for confessionals later. That's talent. This Dallas trip especially exposed how fractured this group really is. Nobody fully trusts anybody. Every conversation feels strategic. Every apology feels temporary. Every compliment feels suspicious. Even the fun moments feel fragile because viewers know another argument is probably 5 minutes away. The real problem with this cast? Nobody knows how to let things go. One thing I noticed during episode 7, these women recycle issues constantly. Everything comes back up again. A side comment from 3 episodes ago suddenly becomes today's emotional breakdown. A joke becomes disrespect. A misunderstanding becomes betrayal. A dinner conversation becomes a season-long feud. And honestly, that's probably why the season feels so chaotic online. The women don't move through conflict. They marinate in it. By the time one issue calms down, another one starts immediately. It's emotionally draining television, but also entertaining. Because viewers at home start picking sides like, okay now wait, maybe she was wrong. Then 10 minutes later, nope never mind, they all crazy. Cynthia is slowly realizing hosting these women is a full-time job. Poor Cynthia, every episode she looks closer to saying, y'all got it. I'm going home. Hosting housewives trips is basically unpaid emotional labor. You have to plan events, manage personalities, stop arguments, comfort people crying, redirect conversations, protect your business image, and somehow still look beautiful on camera. That's a lot, and this episode really showed Cynthia trying to balance friendship with survival. Because at some point, you can tell she wanted the women to behave for the sake of the event. But this cast doesn't know how to stay calm for too long. Drama is literally their shared hobby. The fans are divided this season. What's interesting online is how divided viewers are becoming. Some fans love the messy energy because it feels unpredictable again. Others think the cast chemistry still feels disconnected. And honestly, both opinions make sense. This season does feel chaotic. But it also feels alive. There's tension, there's unpredictability, there's confusion, there's shade, and reality TV survives on emotional instability. The problem comes when the audience stops caring about the friendships underneath the drama. That's the danger zone for any Housewives franchise. Because if viewers believe everybody genuinely dislikes each other all the time, the show starts feeling less fun and more exhausting. Episode 7 balanced right on that line. The confessionals were almost better than the actual conversations. Can we discuss how shady these confessionals have become? Some of these women smile in group scenes then immediately cut to a confessional where they describe each other like escaped zoo animals. And I live for that kind of ridiculousness. The editing this season also deserves attention because producers are clearly having fun. The awkward pauses, the facial zoom-ins, the dramatic music, the shady flashbacks. Bravo editors stay undefeated when it comes to making tiny moments feel life-threatening. A woman can sip water aggressively and producers will replay it 3 times with suspense music. And honestly, that level of messiness deserves an award. The bigger issue, everybody wants control of the narrative. That's the real battle this season. Control. Who controls the story? Who controls audience sympathy? Who controls the social media conversation? Who gets labeled the villain? Who gets labeled fake?